And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5 Minute Morning Mile on Monday the 19th of December. And I'm back in the office, although being the run up to Christmas, I'm not sure I'm going to be in that many mornings this week. Paul is away and we've got a slightly ill Ollie. We think Ollie's slightly ill, but he did win the office sweepstake with Argentina. So maybe it's just slightly the exuberance and the excitement that's getting to you. But anyway, morning, Ollie. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks, Andrew. How are you doing?
Well, luckily, I'm a lot better than I was last week when I was absolutely out for the count. But there you go. Now, look, we're in the last sort of week to Christmas, so there's not a huge amount of news, but there's a couple of stories. Better start off first with our corporate client, Tungsten West.
Yeah, there's been a sort of series of announcements coming out from them, and the latest one today is an update on the reserves and resources for this year. They did some mine optimization studies, which I imagine will feed into the feasibility study, based on new costs, the new mine plan, and all of that sort of thing. And actually, what they've worked out is that they can reduce the cut-off grade, and that significantly increased the ore tonnage within the reserves, in particular by 60%, and that's increased the contained metal by about 10%. So there's now 101.2 million tons at 0.14% tungsten and 0.03% tin. Obviously, this is lower grade materials. You can see that the increase in contained metal is somewhat lower than the increase in ore tonnage, but this is mainly the killers, the country rock. And the plan is, as it was before, to stockpile this until after the main mining has been done and then process that more cheaply at the end of the project life. But what this optimization study has shown is that more of this material is suitable for processing. So that means more tungsten and a longer mine life, or project life rather. This doesn't include any of the exploration potential that we've talked about, so that's something that's still got to be factored in, probably not in this feasibility study, but in some of the future updates.
I think that's one of the keys, isn't it? I mean, look, this is obviously good news, but there's going to be more good news. I mean, there's no question about that as they start to drill outside the pit, they'll find more stuff. This is a mine that will keep going for a huge amount of time. But people just wanted to get back up into production. And of course, we're in this position because they changed the plan. They're having to remodel everything before they can then put all the bits and pieces together and get going with it. But hopefully we're still sort of on track, aren't we, Ollie?
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to the feasibility study. And that's the sort of big milestone, I think, before things really get back into action.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll watch out for that. But yeah, it's getting it back into production. That's what all the shareholders want. Now, also just worth mentioning, there's a lot of news out at the moment about fusion. And actually, what one should remember is that if you're going to create a fusion reactor, you need the metal that is basically the hardest and has the highest sort of melting point out there. And tungsten is the metal that would be used in fusion reactors. So tungsten could become really quite important if all this talk of fusion is going to happen. I have to say, by the way, I still think it's probably 20 years away at least. It's fantastic physics, but very, very complicated.
Bit too complicated for me.
Too complicated for you, yeah, particularly you're not feeling well. Yeah, right over your head. Right, now there was one other news item probably worth talking about, and that is from Leon Kurtzer and Jubilee Metals. They've had some news out today, haven't they, Ollie?
Yeah, a couple of things all packaged into one RNS. Changes to the executive management team, shuffling things around there. The CFO has left and he's being, his role's being absorbed by the current chief strategy officer, but that looks like it's an interim role and there might be some other changes to come. Operationally though, two positive announcements. They've completed the water infrastructure upgrade, which they felt was necessary to stop the interruptions that they've been experiencing. So clearly, if that's been completed successfully, that's going to have a positive impact on performance. And no numbers on the sort of quantitative impact, but they're reporting very successful metallurgical results from the refinery for processing copper and cobalt tails. So yeah, as I say, no sort of quantitative numbers, but positive reports there. Doesn't seem to have changed too much in the share price recently. That's still trending downwards, but I think that's more macro factors and commodity prices rather than anything company specific.
Yeah, look, it's a well-run business. It's a good business. So if anything, it's a buying opportunity. Right, on that note, Ollie, I think you better go and wrap yourself up warm, try and get better. And I won't be here tomorrow, I know, because I'm going to Norfolk on a site visit to an engineering company. But I'm sure we'll find somebody who's healthy enough to be able to do the 5 Minute Morning Miner. But get well soon, Ollie.
Thanks very much. Let's hope so.